Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode on Trends. I'm super excited to be here in front of you guys in the studio. And of course, I'm never alone. I've got my right hand, my left hand people with me. Of course, with me today in the studio, we have to my right PJ, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi everyone, welcome.
And of course, we have the fabulous Ife in the building.
Hi.
And today on Trends, as always, we keep it real, we keep 100, and we bring you latest happenings around the world reporting live. Today on Trends, right, we are spotlighting something very, very fantastic. I'm excited about this one because I think it is high time we begin to. One of the major aims one of the major things that we hope to achieve on this show is to bring the much needed clarity to matters and to be as objective as possible. Right? We are not here to play to the gallery or just to be a people pleaser. We are here to bring truth in the most objective manner, and that's what we'll attempt to do today. Now, over the past 1 or 2 days, from yesterday to today, right, a couple of days back, there's been a video trending, and in a moment of time, I'm going to allow the media to play that video, and then we'll be right back with our thoughts. But, Pastor Poju, the lead pastor of Covenant Nation, there was a video that went out of him, speaking, and he made a comparison between what it costs to be trained as a medical
doctor,
yes, in Nigeria as against in the Europe or in the Americas and all that. And that statement has brought a lot of controversy. And well, we'll get into when we play that video, we'll eventually get into the real conversation and where he was headed. But the major emphasis, in fact, we had a rebuttal by the NARD, Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors, against the statement he made, claiming that it was unfounded. And then, they too had their so it's been a whole lot of buzz. So we're going to be playing that and also spotlighting their tweet, and then we'll be right back with our thoughts. Don't touch that dial. Share this link in case you're here to have your friends joining, and we'll be back shortly.
And I found a group of people, and people have been programmed on social media to hate their country, which is selfish. I was in America. I sat down with some Nigerians, and they started. I told them, I said, listen, before you continue, Nigeria, a person will graduate as a medical doctor and spend 500,000 throughout to become a doctor. Throughout. I said in America, and they're working in Johns Hopkins. Go and ask them how much. You graduate from Johns Hopkins, you graduate from Harvard as a doctor, and you spend $2,000. Are you okay? Do you know how much money you spend? Now, Nigerians are ungrateful. They will go through everything, education. How much do they spend there? Go there. I said, look, you see a Nigerian, if they tell him in Nigeria to do 2 jobs, he will cost your life out. He will come to America, wake up in the morning, do first job, do second job, do Uber, and do everything he's doing. I said, if they put the fraction of this energy they put here in their country, they will have blown. They kept quiet. He told me, he said, listen, what's the unemployment rate in Nigeria? I said, we don't calculate unemployment rate. He said, no, you must give me a figure. I said, there's no figure. Nigeria, there's nothing like that. Let me tell you why. Yaba did a trade, they were just for church members to sell things. I thought they just put out tents like this, 1, 2, 3, in the car park. I wasn't saying this thing is a waste of time. One lady said, came to me, the pastor, thank you for doing this. Now, just to show you, she was selling wigs. She has a job. Before my eyes, somebody came out of the church and bought 3 wigs, each one 250,000. That business is not registered though. 750 grand that girl carried home. There's no job she's doing. So if somebody is in their house and just starts selling wig, are they unemployed? No. Are they registered as employed? No. Our statistics here is different. Understand your terrain. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You see, one of the problems in Nigeria, people don't understand their terrain. Understand your terrain. In America, you will sell like that. IRS is coming for you. And you go home with 750,000. Out of that 750,000, 200,000 belongs to government. Don't drop it. You will see jail. Are you following what I'm saying here? Understand the terrain. Sit down and say, what is this terrain? Then understand it so you know how to play. The girls and the lady said, when you get more, send to me. In other words, I'm telling you that that person could have bought 1.5 million on wigs on the spot. And if you see the lady buying, you will not know she has seen 2 million in her life. My mind was renewed. This is Nigeria. Do you get what I'm saying? The land of opportunity where good cometh. Are you following what I'm saying here? So what you should say every day is good cometh unto me. If all these people say Nigeria happened to them, what are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? Listen. In America, there are 4 people groups that are doing better than Caucasians. Nigerian Americans are, I think they're number 2. Nigerians. And they said why? It is the family of Nigerians. The way they raise their children. Which means the generation that left Nigeria when they got there still raised their children the Nigerian way. And the Nigerian way says, book first for talent. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Get degree, whatever you want to do, do. If you say you want to paint, paint. But first of all, bring certificates. And that's the way in. Why people are saying, what are these Nigerians doing? Because they tell their children education. You enter a Nigerian home, they are disciplined. The value system here is treasure. You now go there, you go and join people. I say, hey.
Back. Wow, that was a lot to talk about, right?
So much to say.
Before I give my own thoughts, I'd like to hear what Ife has to say and what PJ has to say. So, what were the things that stood out for you, PJ?
Yeah, so of course it's Pastor Poju. You know that whenever you listen to Pastor Poju, just expect practicality of wisdom, depth, and of course many years of him actually speaking from a place of observation and keenness. Yes. And I really do believe that media has done a lot of about projection of the things happening. That was his emphasis of the things really going on in the country. And our own take, he said, he made a statement, like a remark that we even said earlier here in the studio about Nigeria happening to people. As bad as it is, we want to also appeal that it's not as bad as it's being totally hopeless in the country. People have spread a lot of hopelessness about what is going on in the country, and it seems to have gotten a bit worse. However, because this is Pastor Poju versus NARD that we're discussing in the studio today, I would say there were references and some of the things that were just picked from that particular, explanation he was giving that was twisted and misconstrued, I'll let you share your thoughts before we come back to that.
My thought is also related to what you said, because out of 5 points, they just highlighted one, and the one is the one that they know will get people angry and willing to just comment and say anything. True. So I think that's the funny part about it, and it has now gotten to the level that even the message, the message it was trying to pass, is lost, and what we are focusing now on is that the issue between this money, this is right, this is wrong, and all of that. It's just funny. It's funny. That's my thoughts.
I would say that, okay, so I believe, as a matter of principle, when I come across issues or when I hear people's ideology or come across a video like this, I think the logical thing to do is to first of all understand what is being communicated, or what is at least attempting to communicate, probably even if it's not properly communicated, but what is he's attempting to communicate. And now I would say this categorically: what are the things that Pastor Poju was trying to communicate in that video? Number one, we know on all authority that what he was addressing was not necessarily 500,000 naira being able to train. That was a loose example, maybe a metaphor, or what's the word now, a hypothetical statement at best, which we'll still come back to talk about the dangers of making hypothetical statements generally that, especially in sermons with pastors. But I feel like the aim, look at what he said social media has painted has created hate in the heart of Nigerians
about Nigeria.
And what he's saying is not far from the truth, because if you look at yourself and you look at your response to the Nigerian state and everything that concerns Nigeria, usually your first response is disgust, is this God,
hopelessness. I feel it's just hopelessness that the media sells.
In fact, on social media, unfortunately, we have almost on a daily basis terrible things that happen. Maybe the report of people killed in certain places and all that, and you see people in the comment section saying, I'm done with Nigeria. Nigeria this, Nigeria that. As good and as true as what they are saying is true, we actually know what that feeling feels like. We're all Nigerians. We're all young people. We know what the depravity can feel like. But you see, there is a subtle push to desensitize Nigeria against Nigerians against Nigeria. So much so that the slightest opportunity that anybody gets to jackpot, to travel out, they embrace it with their 10 fingers. I mean, people, if today, and let me put that out as a just a poll. If today you are told that no need for visa, you can find your way to the United States of America or the UK or whatever country of your choice between the next 24 hours, if you just go to so and so place and click that you are interested, how many Nigerians will remain in Nigeria? The problem will be that there will not be enough planes to carry people because the amount. Why? It's not just that Nigeria is not working. It's also that a narrative has been pushed. Now that was his emphasis. I was just trying to bring out that emphasis, right? That's what he was trying to say. Then now going forward to analyze the analogies, right? He said he had a conversation with certain young doctors in the United States of America that works in John Hopkins, and that's when he made the statement that has been buzzing, right? 500,000 naira trains a doctor in Nigeria. You can. So what he said. And I'm not here to do image laundry, but any wise person can literally tell this is what he said. What he said is that you can train a doctor for 500,000. Now, that figure is debatable. It is most likely not accurate, but can be understandable. Because when I went to school, when I went to the higher institution, I remember that I paid less than 12,500 as my tuition fee. Tuition alone, anyways.
In one session?
No. You have in one semester. You have 2 semesters in a session.
Yeah.
So imagine, I can't remember, but I know it was not 12,500 that I paid. If I paid that and I have 4 levels, right?
Yeah, 4.
Multiply that's less than 500, definitely. I know you have to consider living costs, transportation, and all of those things together. So I understand why that statement might have come off as insensitive, but he was trying to make a point and he probably got carried away to use that figure. I wish he had said 1 million naira. It would have been more.
Or he didn't even say maybe thereabout or something.
Well,
I think he just said that figure as it is.
If there's
an
absolute
figure,
figure, that's where I'll fault. Because see, the problem with making absolute statements, even when you don't mean it,
he's taking as
definitely
such.
did not mean. I'm not him, but from the tone of the conversation, he was, when
making
the process of making a point, you just say 500,000 would do, and he knows where he's speaking from. It might not be so accurate in a lot of climes, even within Nigeria. A lot of schools now per semester,
even federal schools,
yes,
I don't think it's obtainable.
Plus. Yes, so someone listening to that is thinking, "What are you saying?" And that comes off as insensitive. And for the longest time, pastors have been accused of their insensitivity to the struggles and the suffering.
Which is why I would really like to implore, beg, request, and ask that. Okay, so a part of me actually feels, because listening to the whole thing, and I'm sure even maybe taking time to actually go back to the full message, we'll get a lot of things in clearer perspective. Yes. But a part of me still feels this motivation. Because the truth is, things are actually not so good in the country. I still feel it was motivation, and in a bit to want to motivate the Nigerian people, help our minds not to see things as bad as they are. Examples are just lifted. Yes. I really feel that some examples were lifted in that scenario.
But you know that, PJ, if you have him here to defend that figure, you might be shocked that figure might be defendable. It might be defendable in the sense that, like I said, I went to the higher institution. I paid less than 12.
We all went to higher institution. Now why are you emphasizing?
What I'm trying to say, I don't know where you went to.
I went to Obafemi Awolowo University of the greatest gogo.
Right, but the greatest that I went to, right, we paid less than 12.5.
Abi Ife, you not go to higher institution.
My point is, where I studied, I paid less than 12.5 per semester tuition fee, just tuition, right? So what if he was just mindlessly trying to talk about tuition?
And another thing is, those people you reference, I'm guessing they're at least the same age group as him. So that means the time they went to school,
maybe back then it's obtainable back then.
You mentioned young Nigerians. You mentioned young Nigerians.
Oh yeah,
so
true.
Younger climb.
True.
So, but this is my point, right? If you are saying, for example, John Hopkins University, that he said you learn medicine from anything with nothing less than $60-something thousand. It's clearly stated. Not even John Hopkins. Any university in Europe or in America or in the UK, wherever it is you want to study your medicine, you cannot go to a medical school, finish from start to finish with tuition fee less than $60-something thousand. Now that's tuition. So it's possible that he was referencing
just tuition fee.
It's possible that he was referencing just
not
tuition
the
fee.
other expenses.
So I'm saying that it is possible that his figure is correct, but to a large extent it seemed insensitive. Why? Because this now in a short while, PJ, I would like us to show the people the tweet that the NARD stands for the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. You know, they came out to put out a tweet, directly. What's the word now?
It was a rebuttal. And they said that with due respect. You know when they address you and they say with all due respect, they want to disrespect you.
Just look for umbrella
and just disgrace you.
So we're going to play that in a moment of time, but before we're going to show that rather in a moment of time. But before we do that, I wanted to just make a point that there is the struggles that the average doctor. See, first of all, before we can say this, address matter objectively, we must accept that doctors in Nigeria are not treated well.
Yeah, they're going through it.
They are going through a lot. In fact, the healthcare system in Nigeria is falling apart because not just doctors, nurses. I learned that there are places where nurses are paid as little as 50,000 per month.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
It's a reality.
There's no equipment to do their job.
And you expect people to be at their optimum best and all that. So while we want to have justification and say things that would excuse all this, let's be factual. The country's healthcare is plummeted into chaos already.
So you agree that Pastor Poju was sort of motivating us?
So he has a point. His point does not,
because things are really not palatable.
They are not. Pastor Poju's point is not to deny or invalidate that things are terrible. It's just addressing the fact that the narrative is pushing the things that are terrible as opposed. Now, as much as we say things are terrible, things are not all terrible. Let's be honest, right? He made a clear point, and I was gonna pick up on that. Pastor Poju said something in that video where he said, in Nigeria, he made an example of an expo that was put out. I think in their church in Yaba, where they had a yard sale, something like that. And the girl brought hairs to sell, and at the spot, someone bought 3 of them at 250,000 each. And on the spot, she made 750,000 naira on the spot. With an unregistered business, most likely. And we can all relate to it because maybe those of you watching me too, you have 1 or 2 unregistered business and you are a CEO.
As in many CEOs business. Exist
now,
in Nigeria.
You know that cannot happen outside Nigeria. There are laws and regulations. You cannot make money. Yes, developed countries, please, in the Europes and all that, because it might happen in Burkina. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, it might happen in some other African countries, but I mean, more developed countries. These things are not obtainable, right? Because the IRS will be on your case. If you are making money, if you are generating revenue, you definitely have to pay tax. You have to follow all the duly prescribed procedures, and it's a lot. In fact, even Nigerians making, so to speak, money there in any of these places pay heavy taxes. Especially when you are not a citizen, you pay heavy taxes. So these are systems within that place. So what he was trying to say is, someone like that made 750K at a swipe. Nobody's fully half for any tax.
See,
right?
This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm insisting that Pastor Poju was doing motivation and aspire to inspire. Because at the end of the day, what we're also endorsing or celebrating is a broken system.
Thank you. In fact, that's my thought.
So it is not necessarily a broken system in the sense that so this is it. It's not like Nigerians don't pay tax.
How many Nigerians do you know?
On every product you buy, you pay tax. Enshrined into the price of the product. That's why when they increase tax, there's something called VAT, value added tax, right? On every.
This Antina that said wig now, she has gone with that money.
But when she's buying because she buys it to sell, right?
Yeah.
When she's buying from her, she's going to pay tax. But it's just that the tax is not heavily meted on you the way it is in America. That your credit score, your tax score, if you fall that, it is punishable by imprisonment. Bro,
actually
you go sleep kiri because of say you didn't pay tax. That's an intense system. It is working, but it's a system. Ours is also a system. You might fault the workability of it,
it's not
but
working.
it's a system nonetheless. But I'm saying that imagine the hardship in Nigeria and we had that kind of what would I say, carnivorous system. Imagine now if I don't know if you have businesses you run and you make one side 300k that you say you just used to manage your life, guide, as they say, you want use and guide.
Yeah.
The next day you get a mail from IRS and they are calculating your this and tell you that you have evaded tax or so and so. You either pay in 2 hours or you are facing jail time. I'm just saying, right? I'm not, and I believe that Pastor Poju was also not invalidating the sufferings of Nigeria and the reality of the decadence in Nigeria. However, there is a subtle propaganda that is being pushed that Nigeria is all terrible. Have you seen in movies? I saw a documentary, powerful. I wish I got that to send to the media so we could share that. He showed how that they use in movies. They use color grading to tell stories of different regions of the world. For example, if you watch movies that talk about Africa, they depict dustbins,
they use black and white,
black children running with pants, looking impoverished, and then they use a doll, and you just couldn't see that this place is underdeveloped. When you see video or movies that depict Syria or war-ridden zones, right? They put this hazy as though there's dust. You know that there's trouble, there's chaos. When they depict places like maybe in American film, the number one terrorists and the number one devils are the people from what they call them, Russians.
Yeah.
So they depict Russians. It's cold. They depict them as cold, brutal,
heartless,
terrible people. But when they depict America, the UK, in fact, when they depict the UK, they depict them as intelligent people. So an average Englishman that they depict in American movies is speaking very nicely. He's very,
well put together. He's a detective.
He looks intelligent. They communicate intelligence. When they depict
selling a narrative.
Yes, when they depict Paris, they depict love. They make you feel like when you get to Paris, you will find love. But when they depict Nigeria, uncle, 419. Are you 419?
No.
Am I 419?
No. See,
PJ,
I'm not 419.
So I'm saying
I'm not 419, but you guys.
That is what is being addressed.
Okay. Now the thing is, Pastor Poju made an example of the young lady who made off so and so, amount at their trade fair. I'm saying one story in a case of how many hundreds of thousands, right?
But PJ, do you have a side hustle you do?
Yeah.
Do you make money?
What why is this? This is not about me.
Let me go back to
this is about Nigerians.
Statistically, you know that 70% of Nigerians are CEOs.
Running something.
They are CEOs. I mean,
yes, Nigerians are resilient people.
Exactly. I'm not saying that.
Does the system have to be tough to teach us resilience?
No, so I'm saying that we have made the most out of the system, right? I'm not saying that the system should be that way, but a system. So look at it. Pastor Poju gave a very powerful statistic in that video where he talked about the top demography of people that contend with the what do you call them, and the whites. Let me just use for the Caucasians, for lack of a better word, right? Number one and Nigerian Americans.
Yeah.
So there is the...
No, it said number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah. I think said number 2 is Nigerian Americans.
Is it number 2 or
number 2?
Okay,
yeah.
Great. But we are in the list. That's the right? What does that tell you?
Anywhere in the world.
It tells you that Nigerians have the resilience. If they can still be that resilient in a system that works.
How much more?
Look at what he said, Ife. He said, if you tell a Nigerian to work 2 jobs in Nigeria, he will curse you out. Is that a lie? Very true. Ife, would you work 2 jobs in Nigeria? You are finished from this one now. You are rushing to another. There is no Nigerian. The only 2 jobs they can work is maybe a remote job, and not even many people can do it. An average Nigerian in Nigeria would, and of course you can want to debate and say because they pay per hour. There. Hourly, right? And we will pay monthly. but yeah, whatever your debate is, you might be true. But I'm saying that an average Nigerian goes there, he has it in him. It's not this, the country is working, the system is working. So he knows that he cannot be laid back and still make money. In Nigeria, you can be laid back and still make money. There is somebody now watching me in their room, has this laptop or her laptop, is making thousands of naira on a daily basis.
Without thousands of dollars.
Without necessarily lifting anything.
Yeah.
It's possible. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not validating or invalidating the feelings and the struggles of Nigeria. But what Pastor Poju was trying to address is a much needed reality. At this point, I want us to put out the tweet that NARD posted.
Okay.
Yeah, as a rebuttal to Pastor Poju's post, and then we'll be back shortly with thoughts on that. So stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so like we earlier said, we're going to put out that tweet for us to see. So the NARD, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, tweeted, and I quote.
Who is the handler of this Twitter account?
I have no idea, but it reads, dear at Pastor Poju, with due respect, we say anytime it's
just get ready to lose your respect.
Your recent comments reflect a misunderstanding of the realities surrounding medical education and the healthcare system in Nigeria. He said they went further to say, contrary to your claim, no medical doctor is trained on 500,000 naira. A peer-reviewed study, so they quoted the study, a peer-reviewed study by Osoba et al. 2021, published in the Pan-African Medical Journal, estimates the cost of training a doctor in Nigeria to range between $21,000 and $51,000. This includes tuition, living expenses, and other associated costs. Despite this investment, the average Nigerian doctor earns about 250,000 naira monthly, roughly $170. A stark contrast to their counterparts in the US, right, where training costs around $275,000, and the average monthly salary is about $16,000, which is like 24 million. It says for a Nigerian doctor, for a Nigerian doctor to qualify and practice in the US, their family often spends over $10,000 to support the process. And they went on to say, for me, which was like the most icky one, says, this is not about ingratitude. Nigerian doctors are among the most hardworking and resilient globally, which is truth. While the health system is in a state of crisis, many citizens cannot afford medical tourism. It is easy for pastors with access to tithe and offerings to seek care abroad, but the average Nigerian church member cannot. We urge you to speak truth to power and advocate for a better healthcare system. Nigeria currently ranks 142nd out of 195 globally. As a final note, it may be worth considering the apostles' model, focusing on prayer, fasting, and the word rather than serving tables. Wishing you a reflective and blessed Easter.
So savage.
That's both.
So savage. highly questionable that this is even coming from an organization. An official handle of a platform like NARD. See, me, I just really feel all these statistics, all these figures that they've put together, they should kindly please make references that we can see clearly.
In their defense, they quoted a study.
What?
For which year?
That was the study they quoted.
Medical.
Okay, 2021.
Yes, 2021. Osoba et al.
What do you Osoba?
That's the person.
This is questionable.
Right? We have said it countless times, guys. Anything that concerns pastors,
people thrive.
Whether
people
the pastor
feed
is
off
right
it.
Or is wrong,
to drag a pastor sweets them.
I'm telling you, the slightest opportunity, once they can use it to drag the pastor, they will use it to drag. Because I see no reason why that third paragraph was totally non-necessary.
Uncalled for.
A part of it
Uncalled
was
for.
the second part, when you began to talk about pastors with tithes and offerings can afford medical tourism and all that it's uncalled for and it's a shade. It was directly shading the pastor, right? I'm talking about going to stay with word and prayer and even serving tables. This is not serving tables. This, as pastors, for
the longest, they've always wanted pastors to be quiet when it comes to matters like this.
And then if they are quiet, they are the same person that will talk against them.
Why are you not talking?
There's been, just some weeks back, Pastor Aaron was being dragged because he said he's going to be accountable to his church members,
his shepherd,
and not
his
social
sheep.
media lions, right? And then they clamped down on him that he should speak to power and all that. These are the same people saying don't speak, rather focus on
ministry.
So it doesn't make any sense. I feel like when you have truth to sell and you have bitterness, when they come together, you have changed truth to a poison.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how true your truth is. The moment it is blended with bitterness. And like I said, the only fault Pastor Poju had in that statement he made was probably the figure that is arguable and the fact that he was speaking to a demography of frustrated young Nigerians. And I'm not insulting by saying frustrated. They are actually frustrated. Look at the figure. An average doctor earns 250,000. That's too low. A banker earns more than a doctor, which is not heard of in any country, in any climate. You can't. These are the people protecting or saving lives on a daily basis. Put their life on the line to save lives. I mean, people have diseases and all that, and they come in contact with them on a daily basis. So it means if there are people that should be among the top earners in this country, we should have doctors.
Should be doctors.
If you want to look at this, it's far reach. It's not just doctors. I mean, do you know how much professors are paid? Professors in
Let's not even talk about the education system.
It's terrible
for now, because it's very, very disheartening.
Whereas
what is happening?
Politicians,
hey, please.
I mean, I'm just saying there is need for a total reform. So if Pastor Poju was trying to bring a point and he's saying, look, guys, the problem is not the problem. The problem is the solution. If we have cried and said, oh, Nigeria is not working, but we have taken a position where every Nigerian that can save Nigeria. He was saying that if you can come here and be this resilient, why not take this same energy, bring it back to Nigeria and rebuild Nigeria? I know there are so many other factors.
There are many factors. See, I understand clearly. I know it because we always try to make sure we air the plights of Nigerians, and we also like give voice to things that are happening in the economy at the same time. So this is what I'm saying about this perspective of motivation. These guys now have come to throw shades at Pastor Poju. They have their own stance, and then they are pointing fingers, saying it outrightly that focus on ministry. See, at the end of the day, I don't want us to create a system where it looks like we should just keep coming out of, we should just keep thriving in the midst of everything going on, when things should actually be better. So who is speaking to making sure that we actually address the problem? You said that you always say that the problem is the solution, right? At the end of the day, we will still have people that want to leave. People are leaving the country. People will continue to leave the country. But those who are staying back are being encouraged, summoned to stay and, see the good in the land. There is good in the land. We all know that. But the motivation is very, very weakening at some point too.
Well, what else do you want to say? Because
so there's nothing more to say than to motivate us.
No, because the truth is, motivation is not wrong. Is motivation wrong?
For how long?
Motivation is wrong. It's wrong, especially if they've been motivating you for a very long time
and nothing is changing.
It gets to a point.
No, here's the thing. Now,
don't motivate me again.
It's a different
thing.
Thank
you.
I think this is what we're missing. It's a different thing if I am the problem and I'm the one motivating you. So I am the cause of the problem. I'm the one I spoiled all tabs here, right? And I motivate you. Just come. It will be better soon. And I come again and I'm still. But when someone that also feels the pain that you are feeling is motivating you, it's not necessarily, and I'm not saying that what he's doing, I don't agree that what he's doing is motivation. Let me say that, right? But if it were motivation, it is still not wrong. Because would you rather I come and I'm lambasting Nigeria? Would you rather I come say Nigeria has no good to offer? Would you rather Pastor Poju comes out and say, please, if you get the opportunity to leave Nigeria, everybody leaves? Do you know what? That's self-sabotage.
At the end of the day,
for the longest time, PJ. In Nigeria, self-sabotage is the order of the day. Our best brain, it's called brain drain. That's what the Europeans do. That's what these developed countries do. They take your best minds and leave you with.
But if the country is working, the best minds will not go now.
So if the best minds, so now it's cause and effect, right? The country is not working, so the best mind leaves. Who will now repair the country?
Do you know? Now those that are motivated now. So those of us that are staying back, they would once we are fattened with motivation, will now make the country work.
Exactly. Because I mean,
no, please wait. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Right? Why Pastor Poju mentioned something that some Nigerians cannot, without resilience we are. Why is it that we cannot still work 2 jobs? Do you know why?
Why?
In a place like Lagos, for example, if you try it, you will die of depression inside traffic. But you can go there and work 5 jobs, because even if the distance is long, you can move swiftly.
Yes.
Not always true, but okay, yeah.
No, I'm trying to say the context. If you just and the things that we actually require to work, to just ease up some of these tensions that we go through, is not a lot. I mean, to start with, to ease the friction a bit. But you will see that constantly for years now. It looks like the more intense or the more bad things get, the more we look for scenarios to paint another picture of motivation to us. And the angle Pastor Poju came from now is what has caused this NARD now to be shading my beloved Pastor Poju to be having the mouth to be telling him what they're telling him.
Let me say that I would reaffirm my stand on the fact that what Pastor Poju was doing was not motivation. It was if it's not about Pastor Poju generally. And two things first, because these are absolute statements you are making. Motivation is not wrong. Have you ever? Motivation is not wrong.
Motivation is not wrong, but in some context. When something get past motivation.
Take for example, really what he was doing was motivation. He's saying, oh, Nigeria is not all bad. Let's not paint Nigeria as though there's nothing good in it and all that. If that is what you call motivation, then motivation is good. Because in the spirit of true patriotism, we have lost every sense of patriotism. And that it is bad does not mean we keep wallowing in
okay, you made a reference when we were asking us, we're trying to take a poll about if they say, okay, visa to any country of your choice. I said I wouldn't leave. I'm not, and the reason I'm saying that is not just because I don't want to jackpot.
You don't know that you will not leave.
I said I will not go.
I'm telling you that you don't know that you will not leave.
I said I'm not going anywhere.
So let me throw this question open to our audience.
Yes, please reply.
I said that earlier.
We can take comments.
So if today it was announced that there is no need for visa. In fact, the flight will be paid for all fully funded. Any country of your choice, you can relocate and you'll be given resident resident permits. You become a resident of any country in the world to leave Nigeria. You get right now.
Yeah.
You get all the benefits that they do. Get full citizenship.
Let me put my submission. I will choose not to go.
PJ says she will not go.
Yes.
I don't agree, but let me know what you think. Well, let me know what your response will be. Would you go or would you stay? You can put that in the comment section.
And also, is it permanent living? Is it that you can go and come, or that you have to stay there? No, that's another thing.
You are jackpotting there
forever and ever. Never to jackpot that.
If you want to become a resident of any country,
you have to stay for a long time.
Let's say for the next 5 years you're not going to come back to Nigeria, and then afterward you are nice, you wash your hand, come off for anything in Nigeria.
I won't go.
So let me know. You won't go.
I won't go.
Well, I still stand that you don't know that you won't go. And the reason why I said that,
are you making me that offer now?
The reason why I said that is that because sometimes it might not be that you want to go because you're tired of Nigeria, but when everything that makes sense, everything that is familiar with you goes, your friends, your loved ones, everybody else.
Don't I have people that are loved ones that have gone? They not survive without them.
You have other loved ones now. Loved ones is a different category. There are loved ones, they are loved ones. There are more loved ones than some loved ones, right? So there are different demographics of them. So I'm saying that if that happens, what will be your response? But that aside.
Yeah.
My point exactly is this: that the country is terrible. Crying and wailing about how terrible it is will not solve it. And if we keep putting up be accepting the propaganda that Nigeria is too destroyed to be saved, nobody would feel the need or the sense of patriotism to stay and make it good. The countries you are running to became good because people stayed to make it good.
And let's even also get this straight too. It's not all rosy over there.
Exactly. They have their own.
Are you joking?
It's not all a bed of roses.
People have to work 2 jobs. It's not resilience first. It's survival. PJ, is not that everybody like hard work, that they are working 2 jobs. Ask anybody that you know that is there. They are working 2 jobs because without it they can't survive it. The system is not the one that you beg
compels you to actually do that.
Say, because I'm a Christian, I will
allow you.
You don't have the money, you'll be thrown on the streets.
You go immediately.
You don't have the money, you throw on the street. Okay, we have a few comments and I'd like to just highlight them before we go forward. This is from Saintina Zemanek, I beg your pardon. It reads, why should they compare themselves with Pastor? Let me ask. I don't know. So he also goes forward and say, that's true, sister. I think it was referencing PJ's
so my sister.
Olutimile in Victoria Ojedokun goes forth to say, the truth is we should create our own economy no matter the situation. He is charging us to create our own economy, even in a failing system. Exactly. Powerful. Thank you so much, Olutimile. She goes forward to also say, Nigeria is blessed. We can milk our disadvantage to become become an advantage. I believe that if we build our businesses and industries systematically, we can build a capitalist economy. True, powerful. And finally, she says, if I will take the opportunity, it will be for educational purposes, and I will come back to my beloved Nigerians once I am done. I beg. Big kudos to you.
Some of them never come back. Everybody that travel for educational purpose not come back.
Not everybody.
I say everybody that I know that went for educational purpose.
Zamanek also says, I can't say because I am not in there, and here you have to work hard to earn your living. So the truth is, talking about survival.
What country are you sending us a message from? We'd like to know.
Yes, please, you can indicate where you are reaching out to us from, so that we can have an idea of how it's going over there.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I was saying something, Nigerians that work 2 jobs or 3 jobs in America or in the UK is not because they like hard work. In fact, most of them, if they could do soft work, it looks like, see,
the system
what I'm about to say, right? I can be dragged for it, and it's something that has tendency to be misunderstood, but I'll say it nonetheless. I believe that the American immigration and the United UK, because those are like the major places that Nigerians go to, UK or America, either Ireland, London, wherever. I believe that the UK and the American system, of their immigration, their policies toward immigration, I believe it is modern day slavery, and I'll explain why. Somebody goes to work at the end of they pay them at the end of every week, maybe makes maybe 1,200 pounds. No, they don't even make that much. Let's say a month. A month, maybe they make like 2,500 pounds, right? And they have their rent to pay monthly.
They pay monthly, true.
They pay rent monthly. In Nigeria, you pay rent yearly. And you I'm not protein because I say that maybe they have percent of
maybe there's something you're not telling you.
Because truly, let's look at this objectively, right? They pay house rent monthly, so it means someone can pay 1,200 pounds or $1,200 as his rent per month. He's left with, say, about 1,300 pounds or dollars, right? He has to pay light bill. Your rent does not cover light bill. You have to pay light bill. That's electricity.
Internet.
You have to pay heater for warmth, so that you cold kill your enemy, right? The person has to now think of food, groceries, right? There is tax, normal tax, that on your salary. At the end of the day, there's black tax.
That one is real.
You have to send something home.
You have to send something home. You have to fend for yourself. You have to. At the end of the day, the person probably is left with like $60 or $50 to save. The only benefit
modern
that
day
person
slavery.
has
That's the perfect
is find
definition.
pictures on Instagram.
And everybody wishing to jackpot too.
Fresh skin.
That's why I will never jackpot.
Winter jacket,
actually.
snow on their face.
This harsh reality you just did now. It's the reason why I will say, all of you we'll be doing video calls.
Of course. That's not everybody's reality. Some people have
definitely.
Jobs that pay well, tech and all that. But I'm saying that 80%, that's their reality. They live from hand to mouth, literally. The thing you said you were running from Nigeria, the only difference is that there is natural AC there. The only difference is that when you snap picture, it is final. Is that you are not in the country. Is that you are speaking. So if you look at it really, 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 there is no much difference. What are we saying? So the point, and I stand to say again that I believe that the point Pastor Poju was trying to make was that let us stay and build our nation. If we all run away, who will build it? If we run away, we are giving the wicked people.
I want to stay back and build.
I have a question. With what you are saying now, that we should stay back and build our country, how do we build it when the system, everything around us is not giving us the resources to build? And even if you come with your own material to build it, they will still collect the material from you.
The truth of it, I believe information
could not have been better said. Collect your building sheet, your cement.
I believe that the answer to that question, there's one of the comments that answers that. Look at what she said. Olutimile made a statement that I believe is powerful. She said, Nigeria is blessed. We can milk our disadvantage to become an advantage. If we build our businesses and industries systematically, we can build a capitalist economy.
Timmy, the motivator.
Nigeria, I have seen Nigeria and Nigerians build. So, okay, for example, I was reading the story of Money Point yesterday, and they are plummeted to the limelight. As it stands now, they are the foremost fintech company in Nigeria, right? They have Money Point. They have totally changed the face of banking for the average man in Nigeria. And I read the story and I looked at it, and I can mention a number, maybe not too many, but this is a possibility that they have communicated. I know that there are laws and policies that are terrible, that are harmful to thriving startups and all that in Nigeria. But I'm telling you that in the midst of it, I made a statement earlier, 80% of Nigerians are CEOs. And they are making money.
But CEO over what?
No.
CEO over what?
That is what an average person that doesn't have to think outside the box doesn't have. The resilience. That I'm saying that, okay, this is what life has dealt us. You cannot, except by nationalization, you cannot be an Englishman or an Englishwoman now, except you go and marry one or you naturalize and all that. At best, you are in Nigeria. So what that invariably means is that this is your reality. Now, it is left for you to make lemonade from this sour lemon that life has dealt us. And when we do that and we build a capital, I'm telling you that America was built off of the back of capitalism. The great America that you see today is a product of capitalism, and everybody is running to America today because a group of people, men like, what's his name now? Is it Machiavelli? I can't remember his name now. Those are, if you read the book and read or watch the documentary of the men that built America, you will see that these were average people faced with in fact, it was during the Industrial Revolution. Rockefeller, thank you. During the Industrial Revolution, America was at the lowest point economically. They were going into, what's it called now? When the economy is recession, you were at the worst level of recession, and then people had to start inventing businesses, and then that's what we call the Industrial Revolution of America. And America is what it is today.
For that kind
I'm
of
saying
revolution
that
for
America
Nigeria.
is 100 or something, 100 year plus or so. Nigeria is barely half, or it's just about half of the age. So we can be in our own season of transitioning. Nigerians, it's time to come back home and change it. It's when you come home, you contest for offices, you get there, you change the policies, running away.
Wait. So
come home is funny.
No, you don't have to come back.
No, you can't change policies from there. You have to be in government.
Who told you they're interested in changing policies?
That's why I'm saying now. Let's come back.
Okay. Come back. See, this topic has been hot. Sentina is from Austria. I know we have to know where Sentina is. So from Austria, and first of all, I have to say, even with the assistance of the government, with some people that can't afford for themselves, they have to look for a way to help themselves. Even in Austria.
True.
Right? True. So at the end of the day, painting a scenario about going for greener pastures is not exactly always so. Exactly. And at the end of the day, I just want to say this. Should we start giving final thoughts now? Because this topic has been hot. Let's start giving final thoughts. I still strongly believe that at the end of the day, the system can be better. It should be better. You mentioned something that what if we are in our we're transitioning and things will definitely get better. But my own question to that is, so please, for how long? For how long, right? Of course, you know that I love Pastor Poju so much. I love listening to him. I will just really say some references that are made, particularly for people who don't even bother to listen to the full thing. I'm telling you, it might not have been that first few seconds that so many people are just running with. Take your time to listen to the full thing. When you see snippets, 30 seconds cut from a 2-hour message, I mean, there's no wisdom in that. So NARD, I really do wish for more prompt responses from you, from the organization
on other matters,
because we know the state of the healthcare. Yes, you are so fast and prompt in responding to this, but we don't see that same promptness when there are like matters of life and death, particularly when it comes to our frontline workers, the healthcare system, and putting structures, better structures in place for those who are doing the work.
Thank you so much, PJ. We got a comment from Oluwaseunfumi Sanya, and he says the system abroad actually works. There's no insecurity like it obtains back in Nigeria. Calls to the emergency services are always positively responded to, and the government is accountable.
You don't have emergency response.
While that is true, that is not always, that's not 100% true, and I'll tell you why. For example, for the last 1 year, almost every week you turn on the TV, there's a shooting in one school or the other.
Or there's even been natural disasters.
So I'm saying that, of course, I get what you're saying. There's no Boko Haram there. There is no ISIS there. It's the security operatives know what they are doing, and I give it to that. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, there's nowhere that is perfect.
True.
That is not to excuse the Nigerian system. Of course,
that's what you've been doing on this show. I don't know. I trust your heart.
We are calling the Nigerian government to order and to responsibility. But at the same vein, while doing that, we must not trample on our own. She goes forward to say Nigeria is a continuously falling system. Right? It is obviously a modern day slavery, but you are treated fairly and like a human being, which is also still debatable, because a lot of people suffer racism, a lot of people suffer the harsh change of weather conditions, people get sick, a lot of things happen. I mean, see, the truth of the matter is that there's no perfect system anywhere, right? The system in Nigeria is failing, we agree, but the Nigerian state, we must not lose our patriotism. And I like to plead to Nigerians, wherever you are watching us from, please don't lose your patriotism. I know that the country has failed you, or the country is failing. The government is doing worse. The truth of the matter is we feel it too. I don't even want to start my story, right? But it's a whole lot. But what I'm saying, my point here is this: we must not lose patriotism. Someone said something, and I believe it's one of the most powerful statements I've heard in my life. He said, "Don't let the tears in your eyes stop you from watching. Don't let the tears in your eyes stop you from looking." It means that Nigeria might be terrible, but it's not all terrible. There are good things in Nigeria. There are beautiful things. I mean, there are things you can only enjoy in Nigeria. I mean,
like.
Please, everybody watch out for Nakali show starting next week on patriotism and the Nigerian people.
Don't worry,
because this speech cannot just go to waste.
I'm running for
please watch out for his show. Like, follow, subscribe his YouTube channel, and
this is my official statement. I'll be running for presidency in 2035. I promise you electricity. I promise you good roads. I promise that
you're on the right path.
You don't even have faith. You don't have faith in the country.
That until you come to power.
I don't have faith in the government of the day. I don't have faith.
So that's the whole 10 years.
If you change them and put me.
Okay.
That's what they always say. All of them. Final words. If you
Okay, my own final words. It's a little bit different from. It's still from what we are saying, and it's just from the reference that the offering and tithe. And when I saw it, I'm just like, why is it that everything has to tie into offering and tithe? What is the issue that people have with offering and tithe? Is it that they held the gun to your head to pay the money? Why is it that we are always referencing this thing? And I think we need to stop and just, there are other things to talk about. I don't know why you always have to bring that issue up. And I think it comes from the point that people are seeing it as an oppression, and the hearts from which they pay those things is not right. They don't really understand what those things do and what it is being used for. So I think it's just like a side thought anyway. So in conclusion, we understand what our brother has been preaching to us. We hope for a better Nigeria. So we'll look away from the bad side. We'll focus on the good side, and we hope for a better tomorrow.
So if I will be co-hosting that show, Ms. Nakale, I'll be the producer. I will not be in front of the camera. I'll be behind it producing the show for them. So please watch out for that one.
And that's it, guys, today on Trend. I'm sure it's been an amazing conversation. I mean, it's been hot in the studio. And I want to tell, in case you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're missing out on a lot. Please subscribe and click on the notification bell whenever we go live. We go live every day, and we discuss trending topics. We bring perspective to it, and we bring, informed and as much as possible objective perspective to conversations and matters making rounds across the globe. So do well to follow us, do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel, click the notification bell to get notified whenever we're live. And yes, you can follow us on our social media handles, across all social media platforms at Ambience TV. This is Ambience TV, and we are committed to giving you premium content. I trust you've had a blast. Big shout out to all those that followed today. Thank you so
sharing
much,
their
Santina.
thoughts in the comment
Thank
section.
you, Grace. Thank you, Olutimilane, my paddy. This is my paddy. I'm looking out for you.
She's going to be
next
your
live.
first guest. Your patriotic.
Big shout out to Santina Zamenek. Big shout out to Olua Sheofumi Sanya. Big shout out to everyone who joined in today. I had such a blast with you guys in the studio. Until we come your way again next time, keep watching Ambience TV. We love you.
Peace.
Bye.